Hello and welcome to another sketchbook tour video. This one's going to be a bit different to the last one I posted because it's not just a theatre related sketchbook and I am not scripting it at all, which I did for the last one because it made sense to me because I had certain subjects to talk about, like each show I'd seen. But this one, I'm just going to go through it and see what happens. So first of all, I've got these stickers on the front that I'm going to put, hopefully next to each one, the shop that I got them from, the person who made them. But the one that I do really want to talk about, because I think it's really funny, is this one. Waterstone's exclusive edition. That's just off the front of the book. And I thought, why not stick it to the front of my sketchbook? I think it's from the reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson, which I have still not finished because I kind of got bored. Like, I was really into it for like half the book and then I was just like, I don't really care at the moment, so I kind of stopped, which is just kind of the method with a lot of my reading. But also I read quite a lot, so, you know, hopefully I'll finish that one day. So let's begin. So this is my first little page. I have done some hand drawing practice with these markers, these markers, but not these colours, in orange, and I honestly really like how this page turned out. And this is Agatha from Agatha All Along, played by Kathryn Hahn, and I remember posting this on my TikTok, which I don't really use anymore, but it's up here. And someone commented on it, wow, your proportions are really something. And that really got to me. I was like, but I don't care. I just make stuff for myself. Like the proportions of people's faces, I'm not going for accuracy. I'm just doing what I want and making things because I enjoy it. Like, why do you care about photorealism? I'm just here with three or four colours of markers, just trying to vibe. Anyway, I just had a thought that maybe it wasn't those markers that I used. Maybe it was the Winsor & Newton, like, alcohol markers, pro markers or something, with the brush tips. Either one. Anyway, moving on from the negative comments. I actually really like this page, and I don't care if people think the proportions are a bit off. This really started quite bitter and angry. Not really that angry about it, I just kind of thought it was funny at the time. I was like, wow, thank you for your helpful, constructive criticism. Like, I wouldn't have minded if they said, maybe look at ways to improve the like construction of your faces that you draw. Sure, fine, maybe I should. But it was just the way they phrased it. I thought it was a bit rude. But yeah, we've got some like ballpoint pen drawings on here. I think these two are both Agatha or Kathryn Hahn. These little birds. I love these two birds. I think I just drew the top of the pigeon's head like massive and was like, big brain. This pigeon has a massive brain. Because I feel like pigeons have a reputation for being unintelligent. So I don't know, I thought it was ironic. And I really like some of these hand drawings. I think this is from Theo Crain from The Haunting of Hill House, the like Netflix series, because she wears like these gloves. And this little bird, just love this bird. It's just looking at you the wrong way out. Makes me laugh. Oh, this is some random packaging from different places. Because sometimes I find them around and I just go, you know what, I'm gonna stick that to a page in my sketchbook. But these two are the business cards of some of the stickers that I have on the front of this sketchbook. That's these ones, which is also that. And these little ones are that person. But I'm gonna put that at the beginning of the video, so, you know, maybe it's irrelevant. And they did this little tape as well, which I thought was very cute. This page, I think, was as a result of like the comments that I got on these pages. I was just like, why? Why do you just feel the need to like troll on people's like videos? Like, I just made it for fun. I didn't make it to tell you how to draw. And I just sort of drew from my own mind and just threw it on a page and was like, And I really love this little one. I think it was from a reference actually, but like really roughly drawn. And I used sort of, oh, I think it was this pen. I don't know how I have all these pens next to me today, but I think it was this pen. And I really like these pens, and I've kind of got back into them at the moment because they came out of stock in like the shop that I bought them from. And then I found 2 shops in London that do have them. So I've kind of bought some new ones, and I'm like, yeah, I can use them loads now. Cause I don't know, I like a brush pen, like a felt tip, not felt tip, but I don't know what they're called, but brush pens. Anyway, I think this is kind of a continuation of that. Little smile. I don't know where this came from, like, if I must. I'm really saying some interesting things about this video. I don't know how much I'm going to edit it, but I keep pausing. Cabaret. That's all I got to say about that. That's because I was thinking about Cabaret. And I seem to have developed an interest in accordions lately. When I say lately, within like the last 3 years. And I think that stems from multiple things, but mostly from just musicals. Because like, in the prologue of Cabaret, there's always an accordionist, and I'm always in awe of that accordionist. It's not always been the same one, but every time I'm like, wow, the accordion is just a really cool instrument, and I am desperate for an accordion. Like, I really want to buy myself an accordion. But, you know, money, and what if I never play it? But there's this specific one that someone recommended, and I was like, it's not that expensive. Accordions, they're just really cool. I didn't think this is where this sketchbook tour was going, but honestly, cool. These sort of things come up a lot. I remember my year 3 primary school teacher did this thing, and they called it taking a dog for a walk. Like, and it's like taking a pen for a walk, and you draw around the page. You start at a certain point, you draw all the way around, cross over the lines and stuff, and then you join back at where you started, and then you just colour in all the different sections. And I guess it's kind of a mindfulness thing. And that's always stuck with me. If I learned anything in school, it was this. In year 3. So thank you, I think it was Mrs. Kempster, for teaching me this, because it's become very useful to me in relaxation and just having fun. So I'm not mad about that at all. And yeah, we have more of these things. I just love using different colour schemes and like how they interact with each other, and like I love this one. I know it's sort of got bleed through from this page, but I love the like green and purple. I think I got really into green and purple after Agatha All Along, because you have Agatha, who's like purple themed, and then God, what's her name? Rio, who's sort of green, and they sort of have this relationship that's sort of love-hate. Well, not hate, but like, if you've seen it, you get what I mean. I think I just sort of hyperfixated on that colour scheme because of that series. And yeah, more purple and green. And this page, my favourite page I've ever done. And I don't know if you can see. I'm just going to stand up here. Put this little face in the middle of a page. Just made me laugh. I think I was going to fill it with something else, and then I was like, what if I just drew a tiny face? And yeah, we have more Agatha mostly. I love this. This is the first time I've used this sort of style of different colours sort of messily put on. Using brush pens, sections of colour in a messy way. It's just a really fun way of sketching, and I haven't done that in a while. But yeah, I think these are all Agatha, but this does not look like her at all. And then this is Rose the Hat from the film Dr. Sleep. And that is Rebecca Ferguson plays her. And I just like horrible characters, and that's going to become apparent. And what's also going to become apparent, and if you've seen my other ones of my videos, is my how do we say this, hyperfixation on Mason Alexander Park's characters. And so this is Desire from the Sandman from series 1. Series 2 has just come out, and I'm obsessed already. And I have mixed feelings on it because of the allegations against Neil Gaiman, the alleged things he's done. But I think the work of the cast and the crew of the series and all of the actors and all of the directors and other writers who worked on the show sort of really outweigh one man's actions. But it's still like a thing that always happens in my head where I'm like, should I be watching this? Should I be supporting this? But it's an ongoing thing that I always think about. I read a book that helped form my opinions on what to do with good art by bad people, for example. And maybe I'll try and put a picture of it on the screen because that book is really interesting if you're like me and like thinking about things in depth. And in a change of tone, we have these, which are, I tried to take the most unflattering photos of myself in order to do some really ugly portraits, and I think I did it. I think I did it. I took it from really weird angles, and it was really fun, and this one, I captured the vibe of the photo that I took really well. I don't know, they just make me laugh. And I was clearly bored here, and I just stuck a wrapper in. And more pattern things. I remember enjoying doing this. These little dots. It was just a vibe for the day. I love this page. This is the first time I did something like this where I did the sort of lots of different colours, but like, or choosing 5 colours and then just doing a page based on those 5 colours. I'm pretty sure this is a little sort of screenshot photo from Penny Dreadful. I can't remember what the character's name is because I haven't watched it in ages, but I've got the whole box set of it and I'm desperate to finish it. And then some like references from Pinterest was definitely these two. This is Nell Crain from The Haunting of Hill House. I was shocked at like the likeness that I got of her in this, and I just love the I just love the colours. I think I achieved that quite well. This is from Sandman. It's Dream and Matthew the Raven. Little house. Sometimes I like to draw little houses. This is Rhea Norwood as Sally Bowles, who I never got to see play the role in full, but I did get to see the filming of the trailer for her cast, her and Leighton Williams, and I went to another trailer filming for Marisha Wallace and Billy Porter, and I got to see Marisha play the role in full, but not Billy Porter. Yeah, I remember her being great and being like, I'd love to see her and Leighton, and then I just never got the chance because of the time in my life that it was when they were playing the roles, I guess. And another example of me just picking like 4 colours and rolling with it, and I love this thing. I need to do more of it, and using like the ballpoint pen for a bit of shading. It's like really messy and kind of freeing. I don't know if saying freeing is kind of pretentious or something. Something about this and the lighting and how I managed to get like the shade on this side and the lighting from the flame. Just really enjoyed. And the little orb. I'm so glad I can create art now that I like. Like, I don't think I'm a great artist. I don't think I'm an artist at all, which is stupid. But I like doing it. And I like that I like what I do. I'm not like, oh, I'm the worst artist ever. I just sort of make things and enjoy it. Which I used to think I was terrible at art. Through school, I was like, it's just messy. And then I just embraced the chaos. And now I just make messy art. Anyway, moving on. This is Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba from the Wicked film. And I just loved it. I loved the film. And it was long. Like, how did they manage to make Act 1 so long? I don't know. But I'm glad they added so much depth to it because, I don't know, the musical is quite lacking. And I'm very excited for part 2. And I think Cynthia's Elphaba is incredible. And also, I was just so surprised by Ariana Grande as Glinda. I was so like hesitant going in, but I thought she was brilliant. And so I'm very excited, or hesitantly excited for part 2. Like, I really hope it's good, but we'll find out. I think this was some like, not fountain pen, like a dip pen where you have ink and the little like nib. And I bought some, and I think this is the first time I used it, or I used it in a little sketchbook just before this. And I love how it turned out. I love this bird especially. I think it's a crow or a raven. I always like drawing birds, or I like birds, so I like drawing them. So it's just a surprise when it actually goes well, because I always think I draw birds badly, because I draw a lot of people. And these are little doodles from my own little brain. Because I don't always draw from my own brain, but I like to. Again, this is someone who sells stickers that are on the front of my sketchbook. These ones, the musical quotes. And she did this tape as well, this like little musicals tape. So I've got loads of ones on here I could probably name, but I can't be bothered right now. And again, I was so sad. My brain moves at a weird pace. Anyway, this little jewellery store that I got some of my favourite rings from, which sadly I'm not wearing right now, but I have this ring, and it closed down like a month or two ago, and now I'm really sad. But it was an online shop called Druzy Dreams, and so now I have quite a lot of the jewellery, but can't buy any more, so that's sad, like RIP. Oh, and this was the Agatha All Along sticker that I've got on the front. So yeah, that is fun. Ooh! This was just after I saw Hadestown for the 3rd time, so it was back in December. It was the week of my birthday, and I went, you know what I'm gonna do for my birthday is go sit front row of Hadestown to see Rachel Tucker as Persephone again. And so I did that, and it was incredible. And Rachel Tucker winked at me in the front row. So, you know, quite a good show. And Persephone is just such a cool character no matter who's playing her. And I said this in my theatre sketchbook video, but I'm very excited to see a different cast. Because I'm sure they'll be amazing. And more of this. This looks really messy because it's over the top of the bleed through. This little frog. I don't know, I think I was just looking at reference images on Pinterest, which I don't do as much anymore because I've noticed there's a lot of AI stuff on there, which I don't really like using as reference, and I don't really like it as full stop. Because it's not AI art, like it's not art. It's just like photos. Not photos, because someone taking, it's like, art is to see the world through someone else's lens. I don't know. I could talk about this for hours. I should have written a script maybe, but here we are. I think this is Rio from Agatha All Along again. Like when I don't want to say anything about the show because I don't want to spoil it. And more of these, like using multiple colours. Like I liked the sort of extra messy feeling of this one. Like it's not blended at all because I'm not very good at that, or at least I don't think I am. But I just sort of embrace it. I love this one. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I used like the darker yellow at the bottom and blended it to the top, and then just used other colours over the top of it, so it was very like experimental for me. And then this background was, I don't know, I was just having fun. And then this was like very end of 2024, beginning of 2025. It was like the first thing that I drew, and it was Agatha, more Agatha, I believe, or at least that was. It doesn't look like her. And these 4 little post-it notes, I actually did like yesterday or the day before, so a few days after I'd finished this sketchbook, and I was just looking through it, and I just thought I'm going to stick them in this blank page that I'm not going to do anything with now, because I don't like going back and filling things when it's done. I don't know, some people like to go do sketchbooks out of order, I've noticed, when they do their sketchbook tours, but I just like some order among my chaos. Like I like to know when I did things, and I like it to be sort of a story of what I've done and where I've been and what I was obsessed with at the time. Evidently Agatha All Along at this point. Again, I sort of use Pinterest for like references of random stuff. Like I think these were from an advert on Pinterest, and I just thought those look cool, I'm gonna draw them. And I love this one, like the light, the weird lighting and the sort of, I think it was lit from the bottom up, and I just really enjoyed doing that one. Again, that sort of style of the messy but colourful, something I really enjoy. This little thing that wasn't from my own head, it was from a reference photo because I have no imagination whatsoever, but I just thought it was really cute. And I love this. I remember I just sort of didn't draw. Did I not draw in a while? God, no, I didn't draw in like 3 days. Wow. I didn't, I just sort of went back and just drew this. I was sat on my bed, I wasn't expecting to draw, and I just did that, and I thought, oh, that's really cute. And I remember I posted it on my Instagram because I thought it was cute. And the little stars were from my own brain, from my imagination, even if the face, I think the face was just from a reference. And this, I can't remember exactly what the challenge was. Oh, yeah, I do. I did the same reference, I did this one first, and then I sort of did it again to see if I could improve it. And so the first time I just sort of went for it, and then I added the cute little stars because I thought that was cute, so I did it again. And then I did this one, like seeing if I could be more accurate in terms of the proportions. And also I sort of did this background, almost underpainting but not painting because it's marker, so that there's less white space, less paper bleeding through, and it's always colour, because sometimes when white's showing through like this it just looks unfinished, which is lovely for sketching, but I need to learn how to do a finished piece because I do a lot of sketching but I don't really do much with it. And this I never finished. I sort of have these fine liner pens that go from a big size big nib, is that the word? It just sounds weird. So I start with the big one, do big patterns, and then gradually go down in the sizes. Oh, here they are. These pens with different sizes. So I start at the biggest size and then work my way down. And I think I got to about like this one when I stopped. I don't know if you can see that. Nope. I got to this one and then just sort of stopped and kept thinking, I'll come back to that, I'll come back to that. And then I just kind of didn't. And it looks kind of cool, so you know. This is just empty page. This is an attempt at using oil pastels. This is Helga from Cabaret, the current cast of Cabaret, and all of the photos of the like ensemble of Cabaret are always stunning, and the makeup is stunning, and I just thought, why not go try out oil pastels by drawing Helga? Never done that before, not sure I've done it since, but I want to try again because those photos are stunning, and I just like being able to capture something that colourful with my art. This was cute. I think these were the using the dip pens and ink again, and then I just sort of cut them out and put them on a background, which I really enjoyed. I remember exactly what I was doing, yeah, exactly what was happening when I did this page. I was watching Aliens, and I drew Sigourney Weaver, and I drew this sort of outline, and then went, you know what, I can make that better, and so I drew it over it in the pink and just made it more accurate. Made it a more accurate chin size, and it almost looks like Sigourney Weaver. I mean, fun fact, I saw her in The Tempest twice, so at the time I was thinking a lot about The Tempest. This was between the two, this was after I'd seen it for the first time, before I went the second time, and I don't know, I was just thinking about Sigourney Weaver because Aliens was on, we saw her in the theatre, I thought she was great. Some people hated her performance, I thought she was great. And there's a fireplace, and this is like a hallucinated version of Liv Crain from The Haunting of Hill House. I feel like this is someone as well, but I can't remember who. So that's fun. Again, more of this colourful style. I started trying to draw more that's not just people and faces. So I got like references of colourful rooms, and I've done that a couple times, and I think this one's really cute. Not accurate to the reference, but it's cute. And some ducks. I used this pen for that. Ducks, I don't think they need more introduction than that. And then I bought this brush pen. I don't have that down here with me. What a letdown. But anyway, it's like really thin brush pen. I bought it and then I started using it, evidently, using random references from Pinterest. This is Adam Lambert as the MC, who was the MC on Broadway, and I just thought the reference, like the photo, was really cool, and so I thought I'd use that. I really liked this, again using that brush pen, and then I bought this ink, this sort of iridescent kind of multicolored ink. It's sort of got a blue glitter going on for the star. Yeah, I thought that was cute. And this is mostly just Mason Alexander Park, just because this is the first time I drew their Ariel, Ariel from the Tempest, and I believe more Ariel, because that performance was stunning. I mean, being able to just float above the stage and just like do Shakespeare in the Theatre Royal Drury Lane, and I was just in awe of that performance, as I am consistently by everything that they have done. So anyway, and there's a heron too, and I really like this eye, the sort of expression. I remember the reference that I used to do. It was like, I remember the full expression. I don't know if it was AI or not, but I hope it wasn't. But I certainly didn't use AI for this. Yeah, I like the heron. Again, drawing birds. Sometimes I'll just be in the mood for that. And I love this brush pen. I think I need to buy a new one because it's kind of become less solid. That's the only way I can describe it. And again, more of this brush pen, and using different references of random people. And this was using that new ink again, with the sort of iridescent bit, and then there was also this purple ink that I got. And we have more of this in purple and green and a bit of blue. So Agatha All Along had not let go by this point. I think purple and green as a colour scheme was just sort of a lingering result of watching Agatha All Along, becoming obsessed, and then using the colour scheme repeatedly. I love this silly little page, and I used different paint for it. Oh, this was acrylic paint, and I got like 3 colours and I tried mixing them. This was new acrylic paint and the first time I used it, and this was gouache. I don't know if that's how you say it still, but that's what I'm going with. This was gouache, and I tried to use like 2 different sides and see which effect I preferred. And I think I prefer this side right now, but I can't remember if that's what I preferred originally. And then these little cartoonish doodles. I like doing stuff like this. I've got like, excuse me. Like this silly little painting here that I did like last year sometime. I just like the idea of stupid things floating in space. I just think it's fun. And so occasionally it just comes up. It used to be a thing that I did in some of my old A4 sketchbooks, I remember. I'd just draw like planets floating in space, and then it would be like really out of proportion things. And something about that scratches an itch in my brain, and it would just pop up every now and then. I love this. I love this so much. This is 2 versions of Mason Alexander Park as Carrie in the film National Anthem, and I just thought this photo was stunning, and I was like, why not do that in gouache paint and also do it in acrylic paint and see which I prefer. And I think I like both, but I think this was the second one I did, and I think it captures the colours of the scene quite well, like it's a sunset situation, I think. Neither of them are a good likeness, I think, but I really like this page, and I'm kind of challenging myself here. Well, I think I challenged myself a lot in this sketchbook. Whether that's evident or not, I don't know. I don't know, something about these just make me happy. And is there any more need to do things than that? As long as you're not hurting anyone. This is really random. I think this is Virginia Woolf. Or maybe it's someone playing Virginia Woolf. I can't remember, but I think it was on Pinterest, and I was like, sure. You can read that if you like. I don't know. And we have more of this pattern. Oh, more pattern. I like this page because I like this. I like the sort of gradient of the dark to light. And this was definitely using these pens. Markers. I just love the sort of gradient background. Is it gradient? God, I can't remember. I know nothing about technical art language because I used a reference for this, but then I kind of just went off with the highlights a bit, and I used acrylic marker for the highlights, which I don't usually do, but I used it for this. This one makes me think of Chapel Roan, but I don't know if it's a reference from actually Chapel Roan's face, but it makes me think of Chapel Roan. I think this is Florence Welch, like Florence and the Machine, but I don't actually listen to her music, so I'm not anti that music, but I don't actively listen to it. But the reference was cool. And this is just ears, because it's not something that I draw very often from a detailed angle. I just sort of go for the edge. This was me trying to start a challenge, like I think, yeah, last year I did this like 100 heads challenge where I drew like 100 faces in 10 days. And I tried to do like 10 a day. And I tried to do it again, starting with this page, but I just didn't, because it wasn't a vibe at the time. But I like this little pattern thing, I thought that was fun. I'm not even halfway through this thing. Wow. More of that brush pen with drawing faces, but on this colourful paper, because I thought that would be fun. This is like my favourite piece I've got in here, or one of them. Rachel Tucker as Persephone, and I did it in the Ohuhu markers, and this was the day of the cast change, and I knew the cast was changing like completely, and I was just in mourning for the cast changing. So I did this in memoriam of the cast. I don't know. And this is Nick Myers as Sally Bowles, who I did see play the role, but a long time before this. And this is the like Don't Tell Mama outfit. This makes me laugh. This is self-portraits again. Sometimes I just do that. But we have this one. It's the first, second, third attempt, which I kind of did a while back. The eyes are way too far apart. Like that kind of looks like me, but not really. And the aim was to do a really ugly self-portrait. And then like months later, I think it was like last month or the month before, because this was done in February, I did this, which is a fully painted self-portrait in the most unnerving manner. So if you want an unnerving self-portrait, you know who to call. It's me. Acrylic paint I use for that. And I love it, but I don't want it to hang anywhere in the house, because I think it would just really disturb me. Like, who wants their own face badly painted staring back at them? I really enjoyed making that. There's some doodles again. I think this was just from imagination. This might actually have been Chapel Roan. I don't know. A little kitchen scene, because why not? And more of this brush pen. But I remember just drawing this, and I really liked this one with the stars. I just thought it was very cute. I think a lot of my justification for a lot of things in this sketchbook is I thought it was cute, which, fair enough. Based on Alexander Park's MC. I can't remember if it was this time or the next time that I drew them, from this particular reference, but my friend asked me, how many times have you actually drawn that specific photo? And I was like, I'm gonna count. So I did, and it was quite a lot, but it was honestly less than I was expecting, so, you know, small wins. And we have some crocuses, I think that's an iris, and a pansy. And then there's like, in Frozen, there's it's like irises they have as the little like Arendelle sigil, that sort of decorates some of the places in Arendelle and some of their outfits. And I drew that there. I think this was some stuff in my back garden. I was just sat out there doing some doodling. And we've got some pansies, an MC drawing because I am original. And then there's a little MC ghost with a little party hat that the MC has. Master of ceremonies. This is really funny to me. I'll usually do a sort of wrapping paper collage from my birthday or Christmas. My birthday and Christmas wrapping paper. And I did this in March, so took me a while, but I did it this year, or did it for last year. It just took me till March, and you know what? I like it, so I'm proud of that. This is from Merchant of Venice, 1936. I just drew the person who played Shylock because that show was really interesting, and I don't think I was having a great time when I was drawing this. I think I drew these when, oh, I actually really like these, and then drew some more and was like, oh god, that's really bad. This just made me laugh. I just had the thought that some people my age have kids, like actually have kids. Like some people I went to school with and still follow on social media, they have children that are starting school, and I have an addiction to going to the theatre. So, yeah. I mean, to be clear, I'm 22, but it was just really funny that there's people who were at the same stage as me in life they were doing the same things. They're at the same school every day, doing the same lessons. And now they have children. And I go to the theatre a lot. I mean, each to their own. Like, I'm not saying that it's either one's a bad thing in any, like, it's great. It just amused me, the differences in people's lives. Again, I went back to doing these marker portraits, which I really like. Well, this one's a bit funky. It looks more like, I don't know, it reminds me of a film, but I can't think of what it is. It's like Avatar, not Last Airbender, Avatar the Blue People, but that's not what the reference was from. It reminds me of something, but I can't put my finger on what it is. Maybe it's Valerian? Is it Valerian? I can't even remember who's in it. I didn't even watch it closely, but like it reminds me of a film. So if anyone knows what film that I'm talking about or has any suggestions, let me know. And then this again, I really like this with the sort of way I've done the shading. I wish I had more insight to give about some of the pieces that I've done and like, but sometimes it's just, I just like the colour. Again, I drew some houses, trying to stretch myself from just drawing people, and I thought these little cottages was quite cute. This is a very bendy house. And some bottles, because why not? I was having a bad day. But this, I was going really well. I was just sort of vibing, going about my day, and then something happened. I can't remember what it was, but I was being really hard on myself, so I sort of scribbled all over it, and then wrote stupid a lot of times at the top, but then I sort of went back over it and drew more stuff in a way of cheering myself up. And I think it worked, but I was having a really bad time of it for like no reason, because sometimes brains just do that to us. But you know, I like this. So, bad time, good drawing. I just threw something on the floor. It was a crochet hook packaging, if anyone's interested, that I just threw on the floor. I like this little square pattern thing. In Minecraft, I did a lot of this as flooring. I did stuff like this, where you go one way with one colour, and then went another way with other colours, and they sort of become a checkerboard pattern, but colourful. It's not checkerboard, but I feel like you get the vibe. And this was a view from my laptop, because you know, on a Windows laptop, when you turn it on, sometimes it comes up with a really great view, a really interesting view. But this was a really pretty one, and so I just sketched it really quickly. It doesn't look really pretty, but it was a fun exercise. More of these patterns, more Mason Alexander Park MC, but I tried drawing with my left hand. And so this was my left hand, and then this was with the same reference, but with my right hand. And honestly, I like the style that sometimes drawing with my left hand will give me. I have discovered from this. I think I did some writing on here with my left hand. And then we change to, I used some of the dip pens and ink again to draw some long-tailed tits. They are the most tiny fluffball birds, and I love them so much. Google a long-tailed tit. Just do it. They're so cute. I love them. That is all. And this was using Line of Action, I think it's called Line of Action, the website, to just speed draw faces and expressions and try and capture it in a short amount of time. And then I think I used the setting where it gradually goes up in time, but I used my like thin brush pen for this. And I drew a little house because it's cute. I don't know if I gradually got more detailed, or maybe I got bored and stopped, or maybe I just did this the next day. Let's have a look. I think it's all the same day. And this I did the same thing with anatomy and drawing full people, because it's something that I'm really not confident doing, and I do work to get things more accurate and find new methods of drawing people accurately, and sometimes just speed drawing people helps me warm up a bit. And then this one sort of built up in detail until I got to these two, and then this one, which again, I think the accuracy of this was quite good for me. Messy, but good. And these two faces are just Mason Alexander Park. Again, I've got nothing to say about that. I think it speaks for itself. I really like this. I got the, I speak about it in my last video, but I got these little crayon things, and I just drew this with it, and I thought it was cute. And then for this one, I used Crayola crayons, which again, can be fun to just use like art supplies you might have used as a child. This was also done using Crayola crayons, but it's another Mason Alexander Park MC from that same reference that I was talking about earlier. And I really like this one. This is one of my favourite ones that I've done. I don't know why I like it. I think it's the like stylized thing and then the bright colours. I think that works quite well. And then this just made me laugh, and I can't really remember, but it was the idea of a vacant stare. But like I saw one of those toilet signs on the front of a toilet door where it just says vacant, and I had the idea for just like a vacant stare with a vacant sign above it. Just made me laugh. And then this is my face. Again, my face. Trying to draw anatomy again. Can't really remember where what I meant came from. What it makes me think of is from The Lion King, I Just Can't Wait to Be King, where Zazu's like, what I meant was, what you don't realise, now see here! If you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. And that's me drawing that I'm not very good at, but I keep trying, keep working on it. And this was just a little thing from my own brain. I know I did a YouTube reel of like the time lapse of this, and I just sort of enjoy drawing people in the silliest ways. And I just stuck some paper to a page, used Posca paint pens for it, and I really like these little eyes. I like the colours of it. More of these patterns. I bought some new pens, I think. This was definitely using my left hand. I love this one. I don't know what it is. There's something like endearing about the messy style to me that I never used to like as a child, because I never used to like my art. But sometimes I just got to make it messier by using my left hand now. This is a painting of myself. Honestly, there's a lot of those in this sketchbook. I think I just really struggle to draw myself. It's just that it's a face that I'm obviously quite familiar with, but also don't look at the same way that everyone else does. And this is a painting of my face. This is the little sketch. I think this is a sketch of myself as well. And then these are literally just me taking photos of my eyes and my mouth. And then I got really upset for some reason and tore this out and thought, no! And I don't really tear stuff out of my sketchbooks because I don't like doing that. I like to be honest about the mess, but I struggled with this. But then I sort of got it out the recycling bin, stuck it back in because I was like, no, remember that you didn't like this, and that's okay. I don't know if any of this makes sense or if it makes me sound insane, but I really did get mad at that. Something made me upset. And now we have some hands. Colourful hands. I love this one, the sort of angular style of how I've drawn it. And this one, I think I really like hit a good streak with these three, especially this one, like the perspective of it, and it's like going off into the distance and the shadows and the shading. I wish I had better words to describe art, but that's still developing. And then this little guy, I can't remember what it's called, but it's from the newest series of Doctor Who, the first episode, and there's a little robot that keeps going polish, polish, and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And then once I'd done this page, or this spread, I realised that all of the hands were sort of reaching towards that little robot, except for that one. They were all angled towards the robot, so it's like they're just like revering this little polish robot. Polish. So maybe that was subconscious, maybe it was luck, but I don't know. I remember I was just looking up loads of flowers. I just fancied drawing flowers and I kept going for ages. And I really enjoyed doing that. Again, using that brush pen. This brush pen was like really freeing to me. Like, I don't know how to explain it other than it just lets me be messy while also having more solid lines than like a ballpoint pen can. And it stops me being as like chicken scratchy, which is a style that I really like the look of when you sort of do the scratchy lines. It stops me being as chicken scratchy anyway. This is some interesting attempts at drawing Belinda Chandra from Doctor Who, from the most recent series. I have lots and lots of thoughts about how they kind of destroyed her character at the end of that series, and it really upset me, but I really liked her at the beginning, and I thought she was great, and I thought the performance was great, and I really love her, but they kind of destroyed her, and it makes me sad. But I kind of failed at drawing her here, like the likeness isn't really there, but this is maybe the best one. And this I just got some paint and just started going over the page because I thought it was fun, and it was. And then I did another painting where I just got this full canvas and just went on a page and then started making flowers on the canvas. which I thought was cute. And a chicken! I think I sound like I'm going delirious here. I'm not, I'm fine. This is just me talking to myself. This is blue. This is more brightly coloured than she actually is in person. But honestly, I'm really proud of this little painting. I've never painted a chicken before, but I'm sure I will do it again because she's stunning. Look at her. Yeah, I just think birds are cute and chickens are insane but cute. This is Kate Lethbridge-Stewart, again from Doctor Who. This is where my brain was at. This was Lucky Day, the episode with Conrad and Kate's in it, and I loved what they kind of did with her character in that episode. She got to be a bit like morally grey, which I love a sort of morally grey, trying to do their best character, which is kind of evident by a lot of, I keep saying evident today. I don't know if I say that a lot in life or if I'm just trying to sound like I know stuff while on camera. Honestly, learning a lot about myself by doing this. Again, stunning self-portrait. I just tried to take the ugliest photo of myself that I could. Well, ugly is subjective, but silliest photo of myself. And I bought some new oil pastels and I was just trying them out. I just made it really colourful and I remember enjoying this. I love this colour scheme. I don't use colouring pencils that often. This is very like faded, but I think I drew it when I was out in the sun, and it always happens when I'm in the sun. I just sort of, they never give me the same solid effect that like markers and felt tip pens and even ballpoint pens give me. So it's just never, they don't scratch the itch in my brain. This is some close-ups of a flower that I just did on a post-it note because I thought it was a fun idea to stick them in the sketchbook. And then this, I started rewatching Once Upon a Time. This is Regina from Once Upon a Time, and I always loved her when I was watching it growing up. And honestly, she is of very questionable morals, which we knew. But watching it as an adult really hits different. But I still think that she is a great character, and she was very well acted, and I kind of love her. And then this is just some random things on a page. I love this page. I feel like I should go into it in detail just because this is a tiny little like thumbnail of the outside of the Royal Opera House, the sort of glass bit, because I went to see Romeo and Juliet there, the ballet. I just did a tiny sketch there, some flowers, this. I drew some roses, and then it made me think of the song Dear Bill from Operation Mincemeat, the bit where Hester says, our roses don't get the conversation they need. And that song is so like heartbreaking and so brilliant. And I cannot listen to that song because if I do, it gets stuck in my head in a way that actually means I can't sleep. And so it means I start hating the song, but it's stunning and it's so sad. And then these two are kind of really funny to me because at least this person becomes a bit of a hyperfixation in the coming pages. But this is Welf Scolding, who played Ernst Ludwig in Cabaret, and I don't know why I drew him here, other than I watched Andor, and he's in series 1 of Andor as well. And then this, in a similar vein, is Denise Gough, who I watched People, Places and Things, the National Theatre recording of People, Places and Things, which she's in, and she's incredible in that. So if you have a chance to watch that play, please do it. I mean, it's very hard-hitting, very intense, like one of the most intense theatre experiences I ever had, and I've not seen it in a theatre. So the only thing I can really compare it to is Prima Facie, which I haven't seen in a theatre, but I'm going to, hopefully, like we've got tickets. But she's incredible in that, and then she's in Andor too, and I love her character in Andor, Dedra Meero. She is horrifying, and I hate her, but that's the point. Yeah, it's like, I love villain characters that you can see every single reason that they're doing what they're doing, and you understand why they're doing it, and you don't agree with their actions, and you don't think that they're right, but they're just such fascinating characters. Again, her character in People, Places and Things is very flawed and very fascinating and makes some good points. And it's completely different to Dedra. But anyway, this was after I saw People, Places and Things and started watching Andor. And then this is more of me. This is Ian from Quantum Leap, played by Mason Alexander Park. Some flowers. And then we have Denise Gough playing the character from People, Places and Things, who I'm going to call Emma for now, but it's kind of feels weird because that's my name. But yeah, Emma from People, Places and Things, I believe is those four. And something about her face just means that I find it semi-easy to draw her. These aren't accurate, but there's something of a vibe there that just seems like her. And this is some attempts at character design, because I keep seeing people on the internet doing sketchbook tours of their stunning sketchbooks where they have all these original characters that are really cool and interesting and have entire backstories, and I do not have a single idea in my brain for a design, a vibe, an aesthetic, a backstory. I've just got nothing, and I don't understand why. I've always had like concepts for books, concepts for stories, but I've never been able to create them. I just have nowhere to go with it. I don't really know how to be creative in that way. But I had an idea for a look of a character, so I tried to draw it. And it's like this vampire woman who wears a leather jacket, and she seems cool. And that's all I got so far. And I keep occasionally trying to draw her now, but doesn't really come up much. And then I had a dream, and I was like, this would be a good book. So I tried to draw some characters from my dream, but I can't even draw people I know and see every day. Like, I cannot draw my parents. Like, I can't draw them without them in front of me. So to draw a dream character was just impossible. But I just remember they had big hair and they were called Ash, so I had to write it down. And we have more of this pattern type thing, but slightly different because it's got straight lines in it. This was my attempt at actually drawing an accurate leather jacket for that character, the vampire woman. And this whole page, except for maybe that one, I can't remember who that is just me drawing Dedra Meero from Andor, who I've already talked about, but I just think she's such a fascinating character and such an interesting performance. And I'm not a Star Wars like fan. I've watched my share of Star Wars over the years, but it just never really hit me like Doctor Who did. But Andor is like nothing else. I just think it's incredible, because every single character in that is such a well-rounded, interesting character, and you can see why they do what they do. But for some reason, horrible women who have power or think they have power just fascinate me to the point where I draw them repeatedly. And here we are. And we have more Andor. See, we have Dedra again. That's Cyril, who... Going back to this, I don't know why, but Dedra Meero, just really easy to draw. In a way that seems like a likeness to me. Especially this one. Like, I find it impossible to draw people accurately so it looks like the person I'm trying to draw. But something about Dedra. I remember a YouTuber saying, I think it was Prickly Alpaca, saying their face is just shape. Not about her, about someone else. But that's how I feel about this. Her face is just shape. Just makes sense. And yeah, back to this. Dedra, Cyril, Mon Mothma, and Bix. Cyril kind of looks like Cyril, but these two just... no. But Dedra, to me, still looks a bit like Dedra. I don't know why. Just shape. And then this is Denise Gough, not as Dedra, just cause. And then I drew some hands. This was from a reference, but the rest of them are my own hands, my left hand specifically, because I was trying to draw from life, but obviously I can only really draw with my right hand. I can only draw neatly with my right hand, so I was using my left hand to sort of pose, and then drawing with my right hand. And yeah, I quite like some of these. I really like this one with the blue pen. Yeah, trying to draw from life. And this, I think this was an attempt at drawing Denise Gough again, but then I'd drawn this hand previously. I don't know if it was my own hand or from a reference, I honestly don't know. But I drew this first, and then I drew the hand, or maybe I drew it, no, I drew this first and then I drew the face, and then it sort of blended. So I thought, what if they just had a hand sticking out of their head? And then for some reason the phrase "excuse you" popped into my head, like as if someone was staring at this person, like this character, and being like, what? Why do they have a hand? Why do you have a hand sticking out your head? And they're just like, excuse you? Like, what are you on about? Like, it's just so stupid. It made sense to me, I don't know if it makes sense to anyone else, so let me know. Dark Rubik's Cube. Oh, where's my Rubik's Cube? Ah, where did I put it? Here it is. This Rubik's Cube, because I was sat right here and the cube is still there on this table. More pattern. Oh, I like this colour scheme. I really sound delirious at this point. Nice pattern. I drew this from imagination, no reference. I just wanted to draw the really long colourful hair in the style that I used to draw in a sort of giving the vibe that Michael from the Magnus Archives gives me. And I do this like swirly eye thing quite a lot, and I used to do it in my old sketchbooks. And I wanted to do something with block colours, really bright, swirly eyes, no depth, just fun. And I achieved it, and I really enjoyed it. And this is really recent that I did. I drew the National Theatre, but like this is just a printed out sheet. I'm gonna stand up again, excuse me. Printed out sheet that I drew a grid on, and then I took post-it notes and like square by square, like drew from the post-it notes, and I did it for each square. But when I did each post-it, I didn't look at how they matched up with the other squares. I wanted to sort of make a thing of my lack of attention to detail when it came to match up. Like I wanted it to not match up, essentially, because I know that's about myself, that my proportions and sense of size while drawing is not always the best, and the National Theatre building, just whenever I've tried to draw it, does not make sense. So I just sort of ran with it and made this sort of mosaic of chaos. And you know, I love how it turned out. It's crazy, but I enjoyed it. My favourite square, actually, while I'm on the subject, my favourite squares are these two. I love the sort of, I tried using different colours, different pens and different styles for every single one. And I love the sort of ballpoint pen detail. And this wasn't ballpoint pen, this is a more like fluid ink pen. And then this was a ballpoint pen, and I just love how this turned out. Cocktails by the river sounds quite nice, I think it says. Something about the way I've drawn that, I just like it. And again, probably makes sense to no one but me, but I like it. And then this is the last page. Yeah, I drew a face, and then I was sort of like, what do I do with the last page? Do I put pressure on myself to wait until I've got an idea for like loads of sketches and feel really inspired? Or do I just doodle? And I just doodled. Yeah. The end, this is the brand of sketchbook I used. It's a Talon's Art Creation sketchbook. But one thing about the last page of my old sketchbook is I've started my new one, which looks like this. So I've ended the old and then started the new in the same manner, which I like a circular structure. That's kind of everything with this sketchbook video. I think it might be my most chaotic and easily my longest yet. I love this sketchbook so much. I don't know what it is about it, but I just really enjoyed filling it. And I hope some of my enthusiasm and some sense of what I'm actually talking about comes across in this video, but if not, I hope you enjoyed the chaos. I've nearly finished another really small sketchbook, so new sketchbook tour coming soon. See you in the next one. Bye!